Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Journey of Darkness. How are you guys doing today? How's life? If you guys remember last episode, we did manage to generate a little bit of RF so that we can run blast furnaces at maximum speed. Actually, one of them, the second one, is not hooked up yet. And I'm assuming today is going to be a relatively busy day because we have so many machines to make. But before diving into our projects for today, there are two very important things that I need to do. One of them is, I want to know what the hell is this. Because it's been here for a while and I'm like, what's inside? Ew. String. Well, I can see the chest. Rotten flesh. Okay. Oh, it's just arrows. Then we're good. I also kind of need the string. And maybe the arrows? I don't know. Anyways, that was not very important. The main reason that I wanted to come here was for wood. We need a decent amount of wood. I'm actually a very lazy person, so I thought we'd do it in a dark oak forest. Because we get plenty of wood. I don't want you. Why would you want birch? I would say this is a decent amount. We go home. So the wood itself was actually for making treated wood because we want to do a lot of immersive engineering today, and we need a lot. That's probably too much, but it's okay. It looks nice. Now that we have plenty of treated wood, let us get back to immersive engineering. The first machine that I want to make has literally nothing to do with the quest line. Or at least I think it doesn't. No, it's going to be the assembler. And the entire reason that I first decided to make an assembler was to make treated leather because I hate making something with a bucket. But then I remembered we might actually need it a lot in order to get into Mekanism because we need to make this energized osmium ingot in order to make this steel casing. And guess what? It needs a biodiesel bucket. So this is essentially going to be our garbage automation for it. We need some slabs, and I think we have to smack you here? Here? Okay. Cool. The good thing about the assembler is that it's a relatively cheap automated crafting table which can substitute the buckets using its internal tanks. I'm spending too much aluminium. Yeah, that's fine. Are we good? Yes, we have power. I made an aluminium post. It looks like a steel post. I'm not gonna complain. But here is the point. In order to provide that guy with water, we are going to need an ender ore. It is an infinite water source from Ender.io, but the recipe has been changed. It's the old reservoir. I can only make 2. Okay, some recipes are a bit grindy, but it is not the worst thing in our lives. We only need 4. Is that 4? Yes, perfect. Why are you calling it water holder? Infinite reservoir. Also, I'm not really a fan of how it looks, so we're going to try and hide it underground, like so. We shall give you 2 buckets of water and you should also be an infinite water source. Perfect. And we can just extract it using a servo. I don't have a wrench. And to be honest, servo's cheaper. Therefore, just to make sure that everything is going to work, we're going to make our first batch of leather. Perfect. You do work, right? Yes. I love you. By having these leathers, I should be able to make the conveyor belts that I need so that we can proceed to the next part of the plan, which is going to be 4 metal presses because we need to boost our productivity. Because you need sheets, rods and wires at the same time. One was not going to cut it. Also, generally speaking, I'm normally a wealthy person. The problem is that in this mod pack, making steel takes a lot of time, so we need to use it sparingly. Meaning that yes, for the moment I'm going to use cobblestone, but later on I'm going to switch it with steel scaffolding. Because it's going to look much nicer. I need more conveyor belts. And yes, I'm using the garbage conveyor belts because these ones also need a lot of steel. We can't really afford it. Very good. I would say it's fully functional right now, if we give it power. For the moment we're also going to use hoppers, but later on I'm going to use these. It is just for aesthetic purposes. It's going to extract items from a chest and put it inside the press, instead of the hopper. It's also not something super expensive, it's just that for the curtains, you need a lot of hemp. And I only have like 9 plants, so it's never going to be enough. But in any case, we are fully operational. Even though everything is incredibly expensive, so far we have not done anything of significance which has to do with the progression of the mod pack. We have just increased our output. That's it. And since we are also redecorating, here is our crusher. And this time I do have a crate. Don't you worry. But from now on, we're going to start progressing. Our next order of business is to make a squeezer. So there you go. Here is one. We are going to have 2 of them later on because I need to use one of them in order to make biodiesel, and this one is going to be for random stuff. And by random stuff, I actually meant HOP graphite. Kind of difficult to get up here. Okay. Why am I so short? So last episode, using our crusher, we made half a stack of coke dust, and now we need to convert it into graphite. And I think we do it in U? No? Oh, you're not connected. Yes, now it's working. I just electrocuted myself. Don't you worry. So each 8 of them gives you 1. Good. So generally speaking, now that we have graphite, our next task is going to be biodiesel. Meaning that we need a fermenter, we need a squeezer, we need a refinery, and since we are making biodiesel, we might as well burn it in order to generate some RF. But I do have a feeling that before we can get to the diesel generator, we need to also make the arc furnace so that we can get graphite ingots. Cause I think that needs radiator blocks. And yes, 9 blocks. Okay, I think it's a wiser decision that we start making biodiesel first, and then make the arc furnace. So in case you didn't know, biodiesel is a combination of plant oil, which you get it from seeds, and ethanol, which you get it from basically any type of crop. The ratios are going to be different based on the crops that you use, but it's not that significant. I can get it from coffee? So if that is the case, can I use the coffee seed in order to make plant oil? Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to generate power using coffee. Oh, and I kind of made a boo-boo. You're the pipe. Yep, that is the pipe. So if I put a wooden barrel, you will be connected, that is good. And you're emptying the plant oil. I just need 1 bucket for the quest. We also had a quest for a kinetic dynamo, and I thought I got one as a reward. I don't know, maybe I was wrong. No, the quest was a windmill. Okay, I have to craft it. I'm not really sure if we want to use it or not, but we can use it in order to make the biodiesel itself, because, you know, it's free energy. So yes, the second tab was actually the kinetic dynamo, but it's okay, we get the sales. So, based on your comments on my previous episode, I do have a question from you guys. I'm not being sarcastic, I'm not making fun of anyone, and it's not a joke. It's just my general curiosity. So last episode, based on a comment, I removed the clocks and just used the levers instead, because the comment was telling me that you don't need the clock, you just need the lever. A few minutes later in the video, I realized my mistake and noticed that yes, whenever the fluid inside the smeltery finishes, you kind of need to restart the lever. So this is why we're using a clock. And I did check. I included that in the video. But here is my question. I got a lot of comments trying to explain to me why you need the clock and not the lever, even though I mentioned it in the video. And since I have a terrible reputation of not explaining things that I do properly, or cut too much, or edit too much, or whatever, this is what has me curious. Do you skip some of the parts of the video and then you're like, Lash didn't explain? Or maybe it is just because I'm not explaining properly. This is why I want to know. Therefore, I would be really happy if you guys can explain to me the reason. Am I being unclear? Or I don't know, maybe you just skipped a part. Anyways, let us get back to biodiesel. Last episode I did mention that we do not have a harvester and it is going to be very difficult for us to harvest the crops and gathering them. So I thought we were going to use roots. Roots has a soil which will harvest the crops, and it has a ritual which will gather everything which falls on the ground like a vacuum hopper. The problem with rituals from root is that they do have a duration, so if I want to activate the vacuum hopper ritual, it's only going to be active for 5 minutes. Of course, I can automate the ritual by having a chest under the pyre itself and fill it in with the ingredients, so it will be activated every 5 minutes. But the problem is that yes, it does require a hoe, so I can fill in the chest, I don't know, for 2 hours, 3 hours maximum. But somebody in the comments of the last episode gave me a wonderful idea. Use vanilla. And I was like, why didn't I think of this? So yes, we are going to gather every single crop using vanilla redstone. Well, it's not redstone, it's going to be a hopper minecart. Oh, and by the way, rails are incredibly expensive, so this is why we only have half of the farm. The other half, maybe we have to do it next episode. I just wanted to mention a few points about the minecart system. You can have a single minecart gathering everything in this farm because items are going to despawn after 5 minutes, and it's not going to take 5 minutes to gather everything. So theoretically speaking, one minecart is going to be more than enough, but the problem is it's not going to be fast enough. And the gap that you see over here is only for aesthetic purposes, because if I want to make a minecart unloader, well, it's vanilla, so it is going to be an odd number. Anyways, unloading stuff is not going to be that difficult. This is going to be our output chest. We need 2 hoppers like so. A rail goes on top. Also, we are not garbage people, we put redstone on stone. I believe we also need to read the comparator signal out of the hopper, then we need 2 blocks here. 2 torches to invert it. The torch goes into a block. We add the repeaters and we put a block on top of the comparator. Yes, now they're active. But if there is an item in the hopper, it should be inactive. Perfect. And yes, you can use a lever in order to power the rails, but I'm using redstone blocks because for a lever you have to dig under it, activate it, and you know, it's just painful. One more thing, you might notice that I'm using limestone for the floor, and the reason for that is that I noticed that you don't need to smelt it and it will look smooth enough. The thing is, when I was vein mining it, I got a lot of fossils. And the fossils are great, it's going to give you bone meal. And why is that important? It's because we need a lot of bone meal in order to make elemental soil from roots. A hopper minecart is like this, right? Yes. So, you work. For making the soil itself, we do have the gravel, we have the dirt, we have the bones, we're just missing terra moss. And yes, that is something that we can automate, but it's easier just to get it like this. Of course, that is something that I will automate eventually, but for the moment we just want to have a little bit of biodiesel. I was walking home. What was that? It despawned, but you know, did you eat my cows? No. So for the moment, this is the ingredients that I have. How much will we get? That's not bad. The issue is that I kind of ran out of gravel, but we want to convert this one to the aqueous soil, so we have to drop it in water? No? Yes, just in water. This should be able to harvest the crops whenever they're mature. Yeah, we also need much more, but let me find coffee. Well, I have coffee beans, not the seeds. Can you convert them? No. Obviously, it does not have to be coffee, but I think it's fun to power your base with coffee. Is that coffee or canola? Ah, canola. I don't like that. Canola? Canola. Oh, coffee isn't even yellow. I forgot. The growth rate itself is not going to be great, but there is a ritual from roots which is not that expensive, which will accelerate the growths. But for the moment, I just needed a few seeds. Oh, you're taking my seeds. Jerk. And one thing that we should probably test is that if you're fully grown, are you going to be harvested? It's been a while. Did I make the wrong soil? No. Yeah, I'm still waiting. Nothing happened. It's okay, maybe it's not checking it every tick, maybe it's... yeah, it just worked. Okay, we're good. I wanted to make something very clear. This is not going to be a fully automatic system this episode because I don't have the resources to do it. So we will have to do it next episode. For the moment, we just need a bucket of biodiesel. And as I have already mentioned, in order to make biodiesel, we're going to need seed oil, which we get it from the squeezer, and we're going to need ethanol, which we get from the fermenter. And both of them have to go inside the refinery, which is going to be here, so I kind of have to move them. Because you know, symmetry is important. Another thing is that we might as well try to plan everything accordingly. So the power of the refinery itself is in the back, and for the squeezer is also kind of in the back. And if I want to fit everything within one chunk, maybe we should move the refinery to over here, like so. The input pipes are going to be on the side, like so. And since the squeezer and the fermenter are going to receive power from the back, what we're going to do is that we're going to put it back to front. Because you know, the main power line can be in the center to power all three machines and the pipe can go underground. That would be okay. Yeah, it can't be back to front because the input is also in the back. I cannot make a conveyor belt from there and you know, swing it around. It will look weird. Wires on the other hand are much more easier. Also, since we want the quest to be counted, we also need 1 bucket of ethanol. Okay, we have a little bit of coffee. You're going to get power and you're going to get a little bit of coffee. Do you work? Very good. We have 1 bucket of ethanol. Can I take it out with a bucket? Yes, perfect. That is the quest. And now, theoretically speaking, if I manage to make the refinery, which I think we have everything for it, except the sheet metals, we're basically done. We will have diesel. So again, our goal for today is not going to be the automation of everything, we're just going to unlock stuff. Shouldn't you connect here? And basically by stuff, I mean applied energistics and mechanism. So now that we have ethanol and plant oil, here is the refinery for biodiesel. And since I don't really have any means of generating power, we're just going to use a capacitor. You know, until we get like 2 buckets of each one, that is enough ethanol, and that should be enough plant oil. So you, my dear friend, give me diesel. Yes, finally. We just need 1 bucket for the quest. So ladies and gentlemen, with that bucket of biodiesel, we have unlocked Mekanism. Did we? Yes. And just to make sure that we have definitely unlocked Mekanism, here is a steel casing. There you go. Wait a minute, the ratio has been changed. We got a lot of biodiesel. Oh no, maybe not. Anyways, that is not very important. We need some Certus quartz, which I do have. And here is the energized Certus quartz, which is another quest, and we have unlocked applied energistics, which you can find them in Autumn Dimension. Okay, that makes sense, because I did not see any of them nearby and I was very confused. But again, just to make sure that we are definitely in applied energistics, here is the compass. Potion of Swiftness. Okay, thank you. I do have a potion shelf, we might as well use it. Steel casing is also going to give me steel, that is nice. Oh, we get a wrench. Thank you. And 1 portable tank. That is nice. When honestly speaking, the rest of them are not that great. I take the copper. This would have been a nice reward. I didn't see that. I have been going through the recipes and it seems that from next episode we should be able to automate the production of steel using Mekanism instead of immersive engineering. That is going to be more compact, much faster and far more efficient. And on a very positive note, it's also going to release my coke ovens so that we can dedicate them in order to make graphite. Which, talking about that, some of you guys were telling me that I should burn charcoal instead of coal in order to get graphite. You can't do that. Cause you need coke dust, which is coke, not charcoal. I don't know, am I missing something? Well, I know that with Mekanism I can even burn charcoal, nobody cares, but with these ones, I'm just confused. Anyhow, all of that being said, I think we had enough of technologies for one day. Let us do some exploration. We have already unlocked the Twilight Forest chapter and all we need to craft is the Twilight Rock. This is going to be instead of the diamond that we have to drop inside the portal. Technically you can skip the Twilight Forest, but I think mining in the Twilight Forest is going to be easier. Besides, we get nice blocks. I like blocks. So here is my Twilight Rock. I don't think it really matters where I set up the portal, we're just going to set it up over here. We're just going to surround you with flowers. A very manly job. And you just go in, right? No? This item is used to enter the Twilight Forest. It's emitting particles. Was it because of the sand? Will you work? No. Is it one of those things that I have to wait? I don't know. Do you know what is the problem? I'm missing a flower. Yes. Oh, tiny bird. A lot of tiny birds. It's supposed to be called the Twilight Forest. It's incredibly dark. Oh, it's horologium. I didn't know it works here. As I have already mentioned, you technically do not need to go to the Twilight Forest because you can use the rock in order to make the key and use it in order to make the Lamp of Cinders, which is basically used in order to go to autumn. But I like this place. Why wouldn't you? Cause there's food, rabbits, and traps. We're dead. Oh no, okay. Nice. Well, I was going to say loot. It's all over the place. And of course we have a lot of decorative blocks. And I'm assuming while we are here we might as well try to get rid of the Naga. Where are you? Okay, over there. Well, he's not that tough. Also not that smart. Yes, finally. Yeah, this is a far better place for mining. Twilight Forest is not that deep, it goes like 35 blocks and you get all the ores that you want. And thankfully there is no sign of those crazy rocks, it's just normal stone. And by getting into Mekanism and going to the Twilight Forest, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye. So a lot of people are also asking me, where is GregTech New Horizon? Where is GregTech New Horizon? Where is it? Well, it's here. You see it behind me. This stupid monstrosity that you see behind me, which took me more than 20 hours to make, has only one job. Instead of ceton boosted diesel, it's going to give us high octane gasoline. And the best part is, it's only going to take 1 minute of my video. That's it. So yes, it does take time.